Hello, my fellow fanfiction readers. I, Dark Symphony 777, with another fanfiction reading. As always, a link to the story will be in the description. Please like, subscribe to the channel, and click on that bell on the notification, and leave a comment in the comment section below on your thoughts of the story or any other stories you want me to read or review in the future. So, the fanfiction I'm going to be reading today is The Equestrian Adventures of Billy and Grimm by Chrome Regis. She actually suggested me the story. It's a My Little Pony and Billy and Mandy fanfiction. So I actually read this story before. I actually read it twice. I'm going to leave my thoughts at the end, and let's get started. So, edited by Grace. I don't know who Grace is. Billy! Wake up, boy! Grimm, a skeleton with a long skull and thick black cloak, shakes the unconscious body of a giant pink-nosed boy, Billy, who was lying on the ground with a silly grin over his big, ridiculous face after they disappeared from Endsville, or rather, the face of this earth. Oh, great, Grimm shouted. I have no clue where we are, and the last thing I need is a bumbling twit slipping on the ground. Just then, Billy's eyes popped open and shouts at the top of his lungs, Peanuts! While his silly red baseball cap spins in midair and then sticks back at his head, then sprays goo out of his nose for no reason at all. Grimm's big bony head got covered in snot. He looked at Billy with just a disgusted face. Billy, would it kill you to be as clean as possible? Grimm asked in a Jamaican accent. Why? I'm clean as a whistle already. See? Billy shows him his armpit, revealing mushrooms and a centipede crawling in between. Grimm cringed in disgust. Ew, yuck. Ew, mushrooms. Billy picks one of the mushrooms in his pits. Billy picks one on the mushrooms in his pit. Smithers! Yes, Mr. Burns. Grimm. Yes, Mr. Burns. And eats it. Grimm, what one? They're so delectable, Billy claims. Grimm pukes out a green slime, which oozes to his black robe. Oh, great. Happy now? You made me booze ectoplasm all over myself, Grimm says while wiping green stuff out of his robe. Ah, come on, Grimm. A little dirt won't hurt anybody, Billy said, continuing eating his mushrooms. Grimm looks away, but not before he pukes again, then looks around the place, noticing that they are both in a forest of some kind. I thought we disappeared on the face. I thought we disappeared on the face. You didn't see anything. Got it? Grimm rubs his chin, wondering what was up. Maybe we're in another world, Billy said, popping out of nowhere, making Grimm scream like a little girl. Done it, Billy! Grimm was about to clobber Billy when he noticed something was missing. His scythe! My scythe! Grimm searched around frantically. I started talking in Jamaican accent for some reason. Grimm searched around frantically for his weapon, but it was nowhere to be found. Billy just walked around the forest aimlessly, looking for Grimm's scythe, while Grimm himself searched high and low on the forest. Several hours later, Grimm pants in exhaustion looking for his weapon and went back to the spot where he found Billy. It's no use. My scythe is gone. Gone! Grimm kneels and cries, My scythe! Billy returns to the spot where he laid earlier and found Grimm sobbing on the ground. Hey, Grimm, what's the matter? Grimm looks to Billy, showing his ectoplasm-covered face. Billy laughed at this and started to poke his slimy, bony face. Ooh, gooey! Billy giggled as he dips his hand into it. Grimm stood up and wiped his hollow eyes and looks at the smiling idiot below him. Billy, how do you even say smiley? When we're out in the middle of nowhere without Miss Scythe and the fiddler's out in the elements and who knows what it may be looking in the bushes! Grimm yelled in frustration. Just when Billy was about to make a comment, the tall grass surrounding the two began to rustle. Grimm screams like a and hid behind Billy like a sorry coward. I would want to say that's an error, but that just sounds too true. That's just like, that one is just, I don't even know. Billy looked at him in disgust. Grimm, I thought you were the most powerful skeletal wing ding whatever, and here you are hiding behind defenseless old me. Shame on you, Billy scolds, looking at the shaking bag of bones. I'll show you there's nothing to be worried about. Billy claimed, and then went to the bushes to look for the source of the rustling. Billy, don't! Grimm pleased, but Billy just raised his finger to signal him to shut up. Just then, a chicken head pops out of it. See, it's only a chicken, Billy said, while Grim started to calm down. Here, chick, come out here, you rascal. Billy went closer to the chicken head. Then suddenly the chicken hisses and slithers out, revealing a chicken head with a snake's body. Holy crap, I'm a jingle bell monster! Oh, I did the wrong voice. Holy crap, I'm a jingle bell monster! Billy ran behind Grim, but Grim shifts behind Billy again. Grim, get your bunny butt in gear. Kick that chicky snake. What? Grim stutters. My sight is nowhere to be found. I can't do anything. Grim claimed, pondering what to do next. Use your lightning thingy, Billy shouted. Grim had no way to lose. He raised his bony hand to conjure a lightning, which hit the chicken's-headed snake, causing it to turn black and slither away, saving its own skin. Billy and Grim jumped in delight, celebrating their triumph over the small terror. We did it, Grim! We escaped! We killed the snake! Billy proclaims. Technically, we didn't kill it, Billy. We just scared it off. Grim said as he removes the dust on his black robe. Lucky it's not a big giant monster, or we're still going to be in a lot of trouble. As Grim was talking to Billy, something stomped behind him, making Grim bounce for a bit. Billy gazed at the gigantic thing, as his eyes went pea-sized and grew wide as 10 inches. Grim continues talking, unaware of what's behind him. Grim stopped in the middle of his word upon seeing the boy looking at him with an odd and most idiotic way possible. Billy, what's wrong, boy? Grim asked Billy, who shakes life. Speak up, boy! Grim shouts. This time Billy manages to shout, Monster! He screamed, popping his eyes out in a 1 meter length, while his hat spins in midair. Grim lets out a long frown and looked behind him, and saw a monster with a lion's head and scorpion's tail. Grim was lost for words. Hello, handsome. Grim said it. You need to get rid of the F. 2 grandma ada. No, wait. 3 grandma adas. I like my count voice better. Making the beast tilt his head in curiosity. Meanwhile, somewhere in a grassy field, 2 ponies by the name of Rainbow Dash and Fluttershy traveled through the Everfree Forest to go look for the great butterfly migration. Rainbow Dash sighs as she was dragged along with Fluttershy to the silly migration. Rainbow Dash, we need to hurry, Fluttershy said excitedly. Alright. Jeez. Those butterflies won't leave for at least 5 days. Why the rush and why so early? Dash said, who was still yawning as she followed Fluttershy closely behind. It's more beautiful and pretty to see if we got there early to witness a wonderful display of color and amazing sight of... Yeah, I get it. What's so important about this migration of the butterflies, huh? Oh, it's a once phenomenal event that only happens each 5 years. Butterflies don't live that long, so... Makes sense. An entire colony of butterflies gather up in one place to breathe so their families can grow. Okay. So Fluttershy goes to this migration to see a butterfly orgy. Makes sense. You owe me big time for this, Fluttershy, Dash grumpily said, as they arrived on said spot. Here we are. Fluttershy stops and sits from a particular spot, while Dash sat right next to her. Fluttershy and Dash soon spots an entire fleet of butterflies fluttering towards them, just as when Fluttershy was about to get some pictures. Saying out loud the first time, it didn't make sense, and saying it again, it makes sense. Was about to get some pictures. Something emerges out of the tall grass. Ah! Help! Help! They're gonna eat my brains! Billy zooms above, shooting the butterflies to another direction. As Billy trips and fell nose first on the gravel and skidding forward, literally ripping his face apart. What the hey was that? Rainbow Dash looks over, seeing a new and unfamiliar creature before. It looks like a chimp, Fluttershy said, that looks over to the butterflies, disappointed that they flew away without her even taking a single picture of them. Dash leans over to Billy to take a closer look, but Billy sprung up, showing his ripped up face. Dash and Fluttershy screamed in fright and then streaks upwards. Fluttershy was even a lot faster than Fluttershy from that moment, surprisingly. Because Rainbow Dash would not admit that she was scared. I was following Fluttershy! Pouty face. Billy shakes off his face, returning it to normal, which is kind of weird from this point of the story. The sentence. were those? Billy asked himself. Must be winged beasts with claws and a duck-faced butt. Kind of funny. Billy then giggles and looks around for his friend Grim. Meanwhile, Grim, who ran on the opposite direction, ended up on a clearing outside the dense forest. Robe tattered, bones chipped, and exhausted, but was able to lose sight of the monster. Damn it, Billy! You should have told me there was a... Grim looked over to the person he was talking to, but all he found was an empty space. Great! Now I need to find Miss Sight and that blasted boy! Grim rants as he glides forward. As he was about to go another step, the ground crumbles beneath him, and he lets out... The ground crumbles beneath him. There should be a comma there. He lets out a scream as he falls below, but Grim manages to grab a root sticking out of the earth and hang on for dear life. Oh, that was close, he said to himself as he tries to pick himself up. Just then he heard a growl from beneath. He looks down only to see a pack of dog-like creatures with glowing red eyes. Grim's hollow eyes went narrow, knowing that these dogs have a taste for bones. Dun dun dun. Nice doggies. Grim manages to say in a desperate attempt to befriend the dogs. But to no luck, dogs got a hold of his robe and drags him down the dark pit. Sweet sisters of the underworld, why me? He screams as the pack of dogs pounce and rips his robe off. The sound of a struggle and screams can be heard from above as he was being bit and clawed by them. Finally, Grim got a small chance of escape and kicked his way out of the dog's grasp. Faw! Drama at us. Faw! Ah, ah, ah. Should be grasped, not grasped. Present tense, not past tense. And leaps out of the hole, running for dear afterlife. Grim stops on a rock and climbs on it, thinking that they could not reach him here. Ha ha! You can't get me now, you mutt! In a split second, the dogs popped out of the ground one by one, forming a total of 24 dogs. This won't end well. Billy wandered around the field calling out for Grim, looking under every stone and tree for that matter. He even looked underwater on a cave and a mouth of a giant sleeping bear. Hello! Billy called out inside the bear's mouth, echoing throughout the cave like mouth of the bear to Billy's amusement. He then goes to the rear end of the bear and looks under its tail and sniffs it. Whoo, mama, there's one heck of stench. Billy said in a rough voice. He then casually walks out whistling a tune. Without any reason, he suddenly reaches a mountain on the far side of the jungle from where he was standing about a second ago. Graham! He yells out loud as his echo traveled along the airwave. As he was looking over the view, he spots a town below the mountain. As he examines the surroundings, he was actually standing on top of a castle. Ooh, he squealed in glee. I want to be a fairy princess. Billy demanded and jumps off the 100-story edge of the castle. He spreads his arm and feels like flying. He even tries to flap it as hard as he can. One minute he seems to be flying, but in reality he crash-landed on the pavement of the road, which is odd because he jumped on the edge of the castle towards the deep cliff. But he ended up in front of the gate instead. Oh, I knew I should have taken flying lessons. He said then laughed his goofy laugh. With one push up and a roll, he quickly recovers from his fall and runs away, leaving the two equestrian guards on patrol baffled on what they just saw. Now, what the hell was that thing earlier? Said one guard. I don't know, dude. Just stay focused on your duty, said the other guard. Excuse me. I don't know, dude. Just stay focused on your duty, said the other guard. I think I just repeated that. Nerder. Billy ran across the road and jumps every single cart until he stops and spots the town he was looking at earlier. He stood up on his spot and looks at it. Then in a heartbeat, he was gone. At the same... Need to add the word time right there. At the same time, in Ponyville, all the ponies are busy as usual. Selling fruits, flowers, working, and whatnot. That is... Holy crap, look at all these ponies! The voice breaks the ponies on their daily routine as they all gawk at a strange-looking monkey with a giant pink nose on his face. The ponies stood in silence as they looked at Billy, but so did the boy. Without warning, his cheeks puffed and turned red, and then, Ponies! He shouted and pointed at the terrified ponies as they started to run for their lives, thinking it was a monster. Ponies! 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 He kept shouting over and over as he runs around, defying any laws of physics. Then he stopped on the stand for a drink and then talks to a young filly. So then I was like, ponies, eh? Then runs off, continuing his brand of chaos, eating the fruits, destroying the stands, and riding a random pony that almost got him kicked off its back. Billy flips off of the stallion and jumps to a fountain, swimming and splashing around, and the ponies got their chance and hid inside their houses for safety. Billy noticed that the noise had died down and peeked out of the fountain. Hey, where'd all the ponies go? He said in an odd Detroit accent. Billy then spots a pink pony trotting around a gingerbread house. Uh-oh. This doesn't look good. Trotting around a gingerbread house. Oh, Billy licked his lips and his stomach grumbles in hunger. Well, that's a single of a little nutrition facts, Billy remarked and charged towards the house of what seems to be made of bread. Pinkie Pie, unknown to her, was about to meet up a very strange character in her plot. You know, reading that sentence out loud is just so wrong in so many ways. Oh, the cringe is real! She was about to cook up a batch of cookies. She turns and picks up a tray, but Billy was standing there looking at what she was doing. At first she didn't notice it, but then her eyes widened and looked back. But Billy was nowhere to be found. He looked back at her oven and, "Hey, what you cooking?" Billy shouted right in front of Pinkie's face, but she didn't even flinch. "Hi, I'm Pinkie Pie. Who are you?" "I'm Billy." I wish I had glasses that I could do the Mother of God thing. Mother of God. In a random chain of events... Oops, passed. Went too far. In a random chain of events, Grimm surprisingly bested dogs and they became his personal servants. Did he beat him through singing Voltaire? Hey! In the land of the dead. Sorry, couldn't resist. Couldn't resist singing that part. To think it took me to beat these mutts are stick and honey. Grimm gloated as he sucks a stick full of honey. Ah, he sighed and sits back on his fur recliner. Just then something trots past him. What's this? Grimm rubs his bony eyes to focus on what he was seeing. He can't believe his eyes. It's a white marshmallow unicorn. Rarity. Of course. He climbed... Why is... 5 grammar errors. Why is there a random quotation mark right there? I don't know. He climbs down to his chair and goes closer to the majestic-looking thing. The white unicorn stood there looking curiously at Grimm. As he was about to pet her mane, the unicorn bucks his skull off, literally turning it 180 degrees. "Hands off, beast! I have a dragon and I'm not afraid to use it," he said, holding a purple and green dragon on her hooves. "What? I only came here to be... What? I only came here to be with her. I mean, to help her," the dragon said. "Wait, you can talk?" Grimm asked as he returned his head to its proper position. "Indeed I am, and so can he." She points to the little dragon in front of her. "A unicorn that can talk. I thought it was just a normal one after all," Grimm said in dismay. "Excuse me, my name is Rarity, for your information," she said in a classy, sophisticated type of accent. "And I'm Spike," the little dragon added. Grimm just stood there in awe. Never in his lifetime he witnessed just as peaceful sight before. A not-so-homicidal dragon, and a unicorn who's not bent to kick his bony behind every time. He still remembers that time when an ugly unicorn that made his day really awkward. As Grimm reminiscing on his past. That needs to be past tense. 6 grammar errors! That needs to be past tense. Reminisced on his past. Rarity and Spike stood there wondering what this creature is thinking of. "I think we should go, Rarity," Spike suggested. "Indeed, we have much skills to find." Rarity trots off first, then Spike followed. Grimm eventually comes back to reality and sees them leaving. "Hey, wait!" Grimm shouts as he catches up. Rarity looks back at him and asks, "Yes, what can we possibly do for you?" "I was wondering, have you seen a kid? About yay high, big nose freak, goes by the name of Billy." Grimm scowls as he can't give a direct description of him. Billy. Rarity thinks long and hard until I think... Yes. Grimm waited for the answer in suspense. Billy went on a bit of silence then. "I have absolutely no idea." Grimm's face fell apart, attempting a huge jaw drop. In a flash, he pulls himself together and looks at the two, greatly saddened. "Are you alright?" "Yes, you seem to have a huge problem," Rarity said in concern. "You bet there is," Grimm started. "First we were thrown into this world, then my sight disappeared. Now Bella is gone." "If I may, who is this Billy you speak of?" Rarity asked further. "And you're not from Equestria?" Spike added. Grimm knew this was going to be a long time to explain. Meanwhile, a Sugar Cube corner, laughter and chuckles can be heard from inside the house as a party is currently being thrown. "Yeah, boom, yeah." Oh, Billy jittered and jiggled to the music. moving his arms like of a spaghetti. 7 grandma ass. Moving his arms just say it like spaghetti. Wow, Billy, Rainbow's Dash started. At first we thought you were some kind of monster, but now you're not so bad after all. Yeah, y'all all on heck of a monkey, Applejack added. Oh, thanks you guys, Billy said, tearing a bit. No one's ever told me that to me before, because your only friend is Erwin, who's a weirdo, and Mandy, who gives 0 Fs. Being a monkey? That, and the fact I'm not a bad boy, said giggling. But you know what? I never thought you horribly foul-smelling, idiotic-looking, girly piece of crud would be so nice to me. The group went quiet. I'm trying to... Sorry for the long, awkward pause. I got distracted by random thought. The group went quiet, not knowing whether that was a compliment or an insult. Yeah, well, you seem quite genius. I can't believe you can make such a dish, Twilight said, breaking the silence as she eats a bun with something red in its center. Yes, what is this thing called again? Fluttershy asked as she bites it 2-1. It should be into 1, not 2-1. Oh, that's called salt. Ooh. I'm okay. Really? What's it made of? Rainbow Dash asked as she to eat some. Oh my god. This is not gonna be good. I could just tell. Really? What's it made of? Yeah, I want to know what this thing's made of. Maybe I could cook them, Applejack added as she takes a bite. It's made of chicken, onion, meat, stress, sweat, pepper bed, bugs, woman, ashes, some tears. And there's something here. And it's... What's this little sound bite here? Can I get something? Oh, it's a record scratch sound effect. Nice. I think that... That actually, that fits it. That fits this. Yep. Nice. The group stopped eating when they heard the ingredients and puked it all over his face. Billy opens his eyes and starts to lick it all off his big silly face and pops his mouth open with a burp. They're pretty and delicious, Billy commented. My chickens, Felicia asked, knowing the reason why her chickens earlier was missing. Bugs? Rainbow Dash looking a bit green. All of them glared at Billy with a disturbing aura of bloodlust. Billy knew where this part was. Run away! So that's how we got here, Grim said, finally finishing the story off. So, you're looking for a scythe and a boy? Rarity asked again. So, what's this scythe of yours look like? It's about this big. Sharp blade and... Is this it? Spike called out, raising a scythe on his little claws. My scythe! Grim shot, nearly jumping off his rope. Where'd you find it, Mon? It's just there laying by the ground, said, which made Graham look like an idiot, not noticing that sooner. Great, now all I have to do find is Billy, and just then Billy jumps by and lands in front of Grim, squeezing his bit against his face, and farted. Graham, get us out of here, man! Billy pleaded as he climbs on top of Grim's head. Billy, what's going on? Grim asked threatening. A stampede of ponies, so get us out of here or die in my strangled hand! Billy ordered. Grim was in a state of panic and just rips a portal to another dimension and jumped off. Hey, get back here, you vomit! Applejack yelled. Hey, you haven't paid your bill, Billy, Pinky yelled. Hey, I made a rhyme. Bill, Billy, Bill, Billy, Bill, Billy, Bill, Billy. And I think I kind of like that monkey. Who were these creatures? Rarity asked the others. Someone who's very annoying. That should be more annoying than Pinkie Pie. Not very annoying than Pinkie Pie, because that makes no sense. Hey, Pinky Scout. Whoever they are, they're gone, Fluttershy said silently, and stay there stayed there where Grim... 9! Get on my ass! Smithers! Yes, Mr. Burns. Add another one to the grammar pile. Excellent. As they stayed there where... As they stayed where... Not there were... There. I mean, as they stayed where Grim and Billy wants to... That's what to say. Grim woke up with the sun in his face, trying to focus on where they ended up now. Where are we, Grim? I don't know, but I think Pokeball, go! Something hard hits him on the head. Oh, hey! Billy looks over to see a kid with a yellow mouse behind him. Pikachu, Thunderbolt! You're going down! Billy and Grim could only watch in horror and pain as they were both struck down by lightning. So that's the story. Honestly, aside from the end, I didn't really like the story. It has nothing to do with anything the author did. It's just the fact I grew up watching Cartoon Network, all right? And when I think of Billy Mandy, I think of this a lot of dark humor, a lot of really, this really stuff. Even with Billy and Grim and Mandy, I remember, being a lot of black comedy and dark comedy. And it was like next to Courage, it was like the other dark show, but more people remember Courage over Billy and Mandy, mainly because Courage had better writing and better characters. I like Billy and Mandy, I like Grim, and I like Mandy. Thing is, I was never a fan of Billy. I mean, again, nothing to do with Chrome Regis. I just don't like Billy as a character. I think Billy is an idiot. I think in small doses he works, but he needs someone to bounce off, which is pretty much why I think, a lot of Billy's funnier moments is when he's with Grim, because him and Grim play off each other really well. Like, Grim plays off with Mandy, and Mandy, kind of plays off with Grim. But Billy, unless he's with Grim, then he kind of stops being funny. He starts being, incredibly gross, and, it just becomes unfunny. And this is a comedy random story, but the problem is, there's not, aside from the last part, I didn't really get a lot of laughs on it. And that's more to the fact, I just simply don't like when Billy's by himself, because when he's by himself, he's not funny. He's simply just completely unfunny. He's just a really bad character. When he's with Graham, then it's fine. They play off each other. There's always comedic duos that play off each other. Eustace and Courage actually play off each other really well. And Ed and Eddie, Ed, Double D, and Eddie, they all play off each other. Well, it's part of the reason why me and my friend actually had a conversation. I actually might make a video a little later. Talking about Cartoon Network. And when I think of what Cartoon Network show had the best writing, had the best script stuff, I will always say Ed and Eddie. Because there's not really a bad episode of the show. And that's due to the fact the writing is such a high amount of how good it is and how expertly written it is, that you can't, despite the fact you may hate the characters, if you just look at the writing and what they say rather than what they do, then it's still kind of roundabouts becomes a good episode. Not to mention, Rolf's hilarious. I mean, let's get that straight. Rolf is freaking awesome. But, when Billy and Grim were together, then that was fine. It kind of fine. But once Billy kind of went off on his own, I didn't like the parts with Billy. Again, that nothing to do with the writing. That has everything to do with the fact I don't like Billy when he's by himself, because he stops being funny. It's kind of the same thing with Patrick, but the problem between Billy and Mandy and Patrick and SpongeBob is Patrick is rarely by himself. He's very rarely by himself, and usually by the times he is by himself, a lot of the stuff he does is not play for laughs. It's usually really dark. It kind of goes dark and stuff, but most of the time he's always bouncing off someone. Like one of my favorite moments in SpongeBob SquarePants is the episode where SpongeBob gets injured, and he's sliding off, he's falling down midair, And Sandy and Patrick are watching him, and, you know, Sandy tells him, he said, use your bottom! And SpongeBob takes off his pants like this, and Patrick goes, no, your other bottom! And Sandy tells Patrick, said, don't you have to be somewhere else? And Patrick replies, not until 4. That is funny, because that's actually really realistic. That's part of the reason why I also don't really like Billy that much when he's with anyone besides Grimm, because Mandy just doesn't really give two shits. So, you know, a lot of the comedy you would kind of see from Billy and Mandy kind of is deflected because of the simple fact Mandy doesn't play off Billy that well. She more plays off Grimm, and I don't really... And then again, I also not a big fan of Mandy because she's... By the end of the show, she's pretty much become a Sue character by the end of the show's lifestyle cycle, because she always wins. All her flaws are pretty much gone. She's pretty much a static character. She loses like everything that at the start of the story that kind of made Mandy kind of a unique protagonist, and she becomes a Sue character. And Grimm was the only reason why I really liked the show, because Grimm was probably the only relatively developed character. Provided, and maybe Billy, if Billy was with Grimm, and you know they play off each other. Contrast that with Patrick, is they knew Patrick was stupid. Patrick Starr's whole character is stupid, so they hid it by constantly having everyone play off Patrick. Like whenever he does something stupid, they always react accordingly, or say something, or with SpongeBob, they always try and one up each other in terms of how stupid they can be. So Patrick had about 6 characters. He had SpongeBob, he had Squidward, he had Sandy, he had Mr. Krabs, he had Plankton on the few times they met. So Patrick was always around to bounce someone off, to kind of mitigate the fact that, you know, stupid characters by themselves, they don't work. Stupid characters whose whole profile is that you're stupid, they don't work well by themselves, which is pretty much what I have a problem with this story, is the fact that Billy just does not work when he's by himself. All the entire part where he's wandering around, stuff like that, it really doesn't work because how Billy works, and how not only in the story but in the cartoon, he just does not work by himself. Do I think it's a bad story? Not really. It's a decently enough story. Then again, and the Grimm parts are actually pretty well done. I think I would actually prefer a separate story, just having Grimm wander around Equestria, just meeting the main 6 and telling him about Billy and Mandy and stuff like that. I think that would actually be a much better idea than Grimm meeting Rarity, and not to mention also the fact, when Grimm's about to pet Rarity and she kicks someone right, and it's completely played like silence, like, and then she just immediately bucks, and that was actually kind of funny. The record scratch was also kind of funny because it was timed perfectly. I don't like Billy. I don't even like him in this cartoon. That's how sad. Unless he's with Grimm, I don't like Billy. If he's with Mandy, I don't like Billy because I'm there to see Mandy. If he's with Irwin, I'm there to see Irwin because Irwin is a much more interesting character. Yeah, Irwin is stupid too, but the difference between Billy and Irwin is Irwin's stupidity is just a facet of his character. But Billy's stupidity is pretty much his whole character. Part of the reason why I think Billy and Mandy has despite being a very popular show, it's probably one of the weaker in terms of writing, because by the end of the series, they really only focused on Grimm and Mandy, and even then, they focused more on Mandy to the point she became a Sue character, and Billy was just there for trying and failing to do comedic relief. Grimm and Mandy, they very much played the dark humor card a lot. A lot of the more funny stuff was either through dark comedy with Mandy and Grimm, or non sequiturs and kind of the more goofy stuff with Irwin. But Irwin can work on his own, but Billy can't. That's pretty much the reason I don't like the story that much, is simply because Billy just does not work Billy's character cannot work when he's by himself. He has to have someone like Grimm to bounce off to at least mitigate that, like they did with Patrick in SpongeBob SquarePants. So that's my thoughts on the equestrian adventures of Billy and Grimm. So tell me what you think of the story in the comment section below. So this has been Dark Symphony 777, and cut.